So we were breaking down G1, breaking down a little AEW. So after the Osprey match, was there any other highlights?
They had Hiroshi Tanahashi got the heavyweight championship back, which
Okay. I heard the Briscoe brothers had a good shit.
the Briscoe brothers have had a good match. I've not seen them too much. I've never seen too much of the Briscoe brothers.
I hear they're badasses.
Their promos are tight.
Yeah.
Their promos are like, this is why one of my favorite things about New Japan is you just have an ability in English where they go in English and they don't care. They just cuss and it's amazing.
But I've heard they're even trying to pull back on that too.
Yeah, because they're getting bigger, but which they shouldn't. There's a space for wrestling that is for adults. There really is.
Yeah, but there's also a space for television with the most viewership. You don't want to isolate people.
Well, that's fair. You could go for TV 14. You could, I mean, honestly, if you weren't focused on having, if you're not going to compete with WWE, which is absolutely mass market, you really shouldn't try. You could go for like a more niche, like this is our wrestling show. This is.
Yeah, but you don't want to like isolate people or offend people for the sake of offending them, right? If you're going to be offended, it should be for the content of something you're creating, not just because you say the word fuck so many times.
Well, and they don't, that is usually, they don't go for, I always, and this is me, I don't usually find the language offensive. I'll find some things just done on WWE, like, okay, that's offensive.
Oh, yeah. Lacey Evans is offensive.
Yes. Just certain things where it's just needlessly dumb, so maybe it's just that balance of value.
Yeah.
You know, and I, honestly, one of my favorite things to, when I'm bored on YouTube is look at NJPW Isn't For Kids, where it's usually Bullet Club members, usually the Girls of Destiny, Tamatonga and Tongaloa, just cussing out people in matches, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who do get offended by that language, and is that the silly thing you want to stand on? Is that where you want to sit, plant your flag and say that we are the place that curses the most and bring no substance to it? Is cursing equal substance? You know what I mean? I don't get offended by cursing, but I know a lot of people, I've at least encountered a lot of people who do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, do you not want their money or their viewership strictly because you just want to say a certain thing a certain way without content?
Fair point. Yeah. And I can get that. I could see that argument. I think it's just like a value thing. I can see why you would want to do that. And even that, it's not the biggest part of what they do. I would want them to maintain the authenticity of promos.
But it's not the bulk of what they do, but it's the easiest thing to clip out without changing who you are.
Absolutely, yeah. But also, like, I would want them to clip it out, but still let them be like, just be mean, be scary.
Oh yeah.
Well, so we'll see there. But the Briscoes against the Girls of Destiny versus Sonata and Evil, and which my favorite tag team, best entrance, best music, Sonata and Evil, versus I didn't get the names. It's just these. It was these two dudes. One guy, he did an Undertaker sit up, and they were basically just like. They were like supposed to be these like hardcore tag team people, and one guy he would look like me without a shirt covered in tattoos, which isn't what I want to see.
Yeah.
But the Girls of Destiny came out won, which is great. They looked really strong. The Briscoes looked really, really good. It was a great showing. I think they had at least 3 tag teams I think are really good for an American audience to see. The other 2 guys, don't know them. My thought is maybe that they're anticipating them becoming bigger as time goes on. That may just be me being less and less familiar with ROH than I should be. But it was a decent event. I didn't see the Enzo Amore and Big Cass come up part because they just got out of it by that point.
Well, yeah, I think that was part of the angle of it, was to keep it off the television so people would only be sending out their handy cam shots and add to the authenticity of, is this real, right? Because I think that's the thing, is that it turns out it's pretty well scripted at this point. I listened to Cornette's podcast for the first and last time because of how much drivel was in there. But one thing he did say that I thought was, funny was that the giveaway to him was the second he saw it, And he goes, the second that Cass and Enzo are walking away from that and they're not on a stretcher, he goes, I knew it wasn't real.
Yeah.
He goes, you don't fuck with guys like the Briscoe brothers and just walk out. He's like, those dudes are bad dudes. And they're swinging their flimsy little arms. He's like, Big Cass and Enzo are not tough guys. They're not. And they're going up against the Briscoe brothers and they're like, quote, holding their own.
Yeah.
Couldn't be faker.
Yeah.
I also thought they looked like shit. In all those videos, I thought they looked horrible. They looked drunk. They looked like the Briscoes were trying not to hurt them, and they looked like they were trying their best to just stay standing up. Like I thought it looked awful. If that's how you want to introduce them to your fans, they look shit.
And like I can't say this up. I really don't need to see any more Enzo and Warrior Big Cass.
Yeah, I don't.
They had goodwill. They had decent mic time, but I just can't deal with them anymore. They're damaged goods, and they've damaged themselves more and more.
Yeah, 100%.
If you think your way of getting into the fans is interrupting an event for your former employer, what do you think's going to happen? It
You look pathetic. He looked absolutely pathetic.
Like,
and because he already did that once, this made them look more pathetic.
oh, cool. So you're just going to keep doing this until you're breaking into like the armory down in Poughkeepsie?
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I was not into it or any of that stuff. Stackhouse, who's checked out by now, but maybe he'll watch this later. He had messaged me during the thing. He's like, do you see what's going on with Enzo Cass? And I started checking out. I was like, is it real or not? He goes, people are thinking it's not. They think it's a work. And I was like, I don't know, man. They look like shit. Like, I would think that if you're going to bring in dudes and want them to be marketed, you'd not want to bring them in looking so bad. I was like, it makes me feel like it has to be real, because why would you make your newest members look that bad? But they did. Yeah. They did, and maybe that was part of it too. Go out there and look shitty.
Yeah.
For what? I don't know.
Just we can bury you like WWE's buried so much more talent going in.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Otherwise, I'm super excited. Starcast is coming up. You're going there. You're gonna have an awesome time. Double or Nothing is coming up. I'm not going.
Yeah.
Because it's also when I'm going to be at another awesome event I'm excited to go to, which coincides with Starcast and that. So no professional wrestler will be at the Comic-Con I'm going to.
That's funny.
Fucker.
The only one.
Yeah. Not even Honky Tonk Man. He lives in the city.
Yeah. He's got other places to be. Yeah, Starcast I'm really excited for. I think it's going to be really cool. Tomorrow I'll be able to get the Ric Flair ticket I want. I've already got Sting and the NWO, JR Lawler. But Double or Nothing, they're saying that sometime this week, maybe next, we're going to start seeing where we can watch it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I want to know the price.
I want to know, we keep hearing more and more about this potential TV deal. I'm thinking they're probably going to announce that at the event.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Because I like the big conferences they do, but I feel like that...
It's getting played out quick.
No, I think, they have a big roster. What are you going to do? Like, who else are you going to sign unless you get something absolutely...
They have 44 guys right now. Well, and women. They have 44 on their roster. That seems kind of a lot right now to start with a show that hasn't started.
Yep.
So it seems like you're trying to...
And they're doing good with the YouTube channel. I mean, I don't see that there. I think it'd be fantastic if at the end of Double or Nothing or in the middle of it they said, we got an announcement.
Yeah, and that'd strictly YouTube. If they were strictly YouTube, I might start watching it. But at this point, I'm just not. Like, I catch little clips here and there of like Jericho, but I don't want to go to YouTube to get my intake. I just don't. And I'm probably the minority in that. I feel like most people probably do.
It's a balance. I mean, because you get...
If they had a network, I'd probably look at it a lot, to be honest. If they had their own little app and it had all their YouTube videos, I probably would watch the shit out of it.
I think that might be coming. No, the issue I run into with YouTube, this is just an issue I have with like my my Xbox when I'm running it. I keep getting video distortion, like randomly not videos. I'm like, what the fuck? So it kind of annoys me, but yeah, no, I like a polished network where I can see it all. I like when I'm like, I want to go watch a WWE network and just let it go. Yeah. Or, just let it spin and show me the wonders of wrestling.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. To me, coming up with the infancy of YouTube, it was always like the dumbest shit. You didn't go to YouTube unless you wanted to see something stupid. It was where everyone put whatever they wanted up for everything.
Just so you know, this will be posted to YouTube later.
Yeah, we're gonna put something on YouTube because everyone can do it. You can just do that.
Yeah.
And I think to me that's what made YouTube so undesirable as a outlet for all that content.
They like laugh. People would laugh at it because it's there. But then as time has gone on, you have always the dumb things you watch, but you still have people who use it as an awesome platform. Plus, I mean,
it's a great platform to get out there and talk to people and do stuff. But if you're wanting me to take you seriously, there's a certain level where you got to grow outside of YouTube.
Yeah.
I feel like they've outgrown YouTube, or they're going to teach me that they just want to live in YouTube. So it's up to them. It's the ball's in their court, I think, on that one. And again, I'm probably not their target audience. Probably not their. I don't think they want to exclude me specifically. I don't think they're like, fuck that guy. I don't want him to ever watch my show. I think they would love to have me as a viewer, but I don't think they need to cater to me either. I want them to do exactly what they want to do, put it out exactly the way they want to. And if I'm a fan, awesome. And if I'm not, hey, that's the whole point. It's the point of putting out another option is to find out what it is you like. Maybe I'll love it. Maybe I won't.
Yeah.
But I'll give them a chance for sure. I just don't have a good feeling about YouTube. You know what I mean? Like I said, if they literally put those same exact videos on AEW, the app, I'd probably go, I want to see this whole series. I'd probably binge it because I'm sure they're short, right? Like
some
of them are like 8 minutes.
They've stretched. They used to like when they started, they were like 5 minutes, and now they're like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
They're like episodes, but they're good. They cover a lot. They have pretty decent story arcs. They do sketches. I like it a lot. I do appreciate it. I think YouTube fits.
I really like the one I saw of Jericho had posted a video, and then they did in the All Elite where Cody was watching that video in his office. And I really liked that. And it was such a simple idea. It was just him in his office and like his buddy, and they're watching it. And then the whole Jericho just says everything, says all this shit. And he's just standing there staring at it. And then the guy's like, what are you? And he's like, just give me a minute. Like I'm processing this shit right now. And I was like, this is great. That's awesome. Yeah. And like, it's such, my favorite thing about Lucha Underground, yeah, the matches were great. It introduced me to Ricochet. But my favorite thing was the production value.
Yes.
A different way to see wrestling.
You don't have to make it a sport. You can make it
a drama.
Yes.
They made it a telenovela in Lucha Underground. That's why I'm trying to eventually get to the point where Michelle's done with her schooling and I can sit her down to watch Lucha Underground because it's too big of an undertaking by itself. It's a long episode.
The only thing on Lucha Underground I didn't like, the amount of Juggalo shit. Vampiro.
Oh.
And there would be like maybe a couple hatchet men in the background. Motherfucker, I don't like any ICP things. They just annoy me.
Yeah. That's true. But the presentation of it was amazing.
It's fantastic. And
all their little clips backstage, all their little vignettes. And Conan comes over to like sign Puma, all that. I was like, man, this is an amazing way to shoot this.
Well, and you could have a smaller roster because you didn't have to hit everyone on every single week.
Yeah.
You could have people. You could have 5 matches in a show, less, maybe even 3, and then you didn't have to have people every single night beating themselves to death.
No, and it was a cinematic way of showing it. And my understanding is that's the goal with All Elite. They want to be more cinematic presentation. If that's the case, hey man, I'm interested.
I think they have a good mind for comedy. They really do, because the things they do really can make me laugh. Like when they were going through the whole like, will they sign with WWE, but will they won't, or will they won't?
Oh yeah.
And then Cody goes into the scene where his eyes roll into his head and he's literally just listing WWE facts as he's going through this like exorcism.
Oh yeah.
And he's standing in a corner at one point just just listing things and going, did you know that SmackDown is the most widely watched television show on network?
Yeah, very good.
Or their little weird call outs they did to they had a really weird crossover with the WWE. Massive crossover.
Oh, with the Goldust stuff?
No, they were in Montreal for a show. Well, the WWE was also in Montreal, so they were like filming. It's like, hey, the other promotions here, and they're like joking about like running into people like, and in the background like Kevin Owens pops in, Sammy's in. Hey, do you guys know what the time is? And they say, and he walks out, and then they're like, it's weird. We've not seen any WWE people, and then AJ Styles is right behind him, walks out.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, they have a good mind for it. They're good, and I also appreciate it in a sense. It's fan service, it all is, but I like that. I like that they have not lost that connection to what made them famous, which is YouTube, which is their fans, and they still keep connecting to them.
100%. Yeah, it's hard to argue. I do think with everyone talking about everybody's being upset and they're all going to AEW, I do hope for their sake, regardless of if that's what they want. Maybe the talent all wants that. Maybe they're all saying, I'm going to leave and go to AEW. Maybe they all think, I'm just going to go to AEW. Maybe they all think that. Maybe that's true. Maybe that mentality is true. I hope for the sake of AEW that they don't allow that to happen anyways. Because I feel like if you become the place where every disgruntled employee goes, you were going to find the same fate as every other place that had become the place that disgruntled employees went. And I think that they can do more. I think they could be more.
Yeah, there are people who need a push in a different way and may be stuck, but they're few and far between. The vast majority of the people that, and this sucks because there's people we love, you know?
Yeah.
But the vast majority of people who are in the WWE and fall out, it's not that the opportunities weren't there. They didn't get it over. They gave up. They left.
Sometimes it's about biding your time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just not the right time for you.
The New Day was a shitty gimmick initially, but they got it over. And now they are the New Day. They're best known as that, but they also get to be what they want to be because they got it over. They invested in it. They made it work.
I hated the New Day so much when I got back into wrestling that I was at the New York Comic Con and I was buying these Boom pieces of art, and the first one I opened up, I saw it was the New Day, and I went, ugh. And they're like, it's a grab bag, you get to keep what you keep. I bought 2 more before I left. I was like, all right, I'm going to 2 more. I open it up, the first one I see, the New Day again. I was like, fuck, 2 of the same one? Like, this is bullshit. But I went home and I looked at them, I pulled them out, and I was like, what is this? Is it signed by the artist or something? No. Both of the New Days were signed by the New Day. I happened to grab 2 signed by the New Day out of like 20 that were in there. And my first thought was, well, what am I going to do with this? And I sent one to my buddy Kevlar, co-host of the show on days he decides to come in.
One up here.
And I got one on the wall. Because by the time I moved into here, they had completely won me over. And I was like, holy shit, these guys are amazing.
Yeah.
They are incredible. And I had thrown away their gimmick in my mind of childish and weird. And I even was like, Kevin, I get it. Your kids love them. Why wouldn't kids love them? I'm an adult. I hate them. Then they had their rivalry with Usos.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Dead wrong.
Well, and it really is that. It's something we also, off of this, we talked about, and I've given a lot of thought to this. When it comes to...
I was saying, which one you see? That's actually Jake that you can see on there.
Yeah. When people, former talent, criticize the WWE, there are things that are wrong with the WWE, I'm sure. But a lot of the times I wonder if we're hearing this from damaged goods, because a lot of times people left on bad terms, or they come back around. Roddy Piper famously attacked the WWE and then recounted a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. What about Woods? Or not Woods. What about Kofi? What if he left 2 years ago?
Yeah.
What if he left 3 years ago when they were kind of...
What if he left when this was presented to them and they're like, he was like, fuck this. Same with Big E.
Or what if he left after their 483-day reign?
Yeah.
I was like, what's the point? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta wait.
Yeah, and that's something for people like, Ryback is someone who always I struggle with because I like the character. I thought it was awesome. But when he left, and he left for a lot of reasons, he started just shitting on the WWE and
their creative's horrible because they didn't put me on top right away and forever. Well, not everyone can be on top all the time.
Absolutely. Shawn Michaels got dropped to the mid-card. Shawn Michaels got dropped down. He wasn't always competing for the World Heavyweight Championship or for the WWE belt. He was down.
What about all the shit with the Rockers, man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a great tag team because they made themselves a great tag team.
Yeah.
They had no reason to be there that long.
You can get yourself over so much that it doesn't matter where in the card you are. It's an important match.
Yeah.
John Cena. John Cena is not in the main event. But John Cena is also the main event because John Cena is John fucking Cena.
Yeah, because he's the match you talk about when you walk away.
And as much as we want to say that's booking, that's also him getting over initially.
Yeah.
I think with AEW, one thing that they do very well, and
we'll see if they do well. They haven't done anything yet.
Thus far, the Elite have done well.
But the thing they do really well is make T-shirts.
Okay, some fantastic goddamn T-shirts. But I don't want them to become this place of disgruntled employees, of taking the talent from other places, of losing that connection with fans. And I think for talent who want to leave or have made those idle threats, while I'm looking at this, and I don't even know if it's talent, we just hear it in dirt sheets from people saying it. I think it's a thing for people to say this: you can get yourself over. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins got themselves over not being on TV.
Kurt Hawkins got himself over with a losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's a relatively simple gimmick that's been around a number of times before. But he came in, he was losing, he said all that shit, and he immediately started, I'm going to lose forever. And there was a point where they wanted him to win, I guess, like a year or two ago, and he said no. He said, did you realize how many matches I've lost? Because apparently it was booked that way, and they said, yeah, we just want you to win this one. And he said, okay, does Vince know how many losses I have? He said this on some interview he did. And I'm like, well, we don't know. I was like, can you please tell him this is how many losses I've had in a row? And then see what he says, right? So they do, and then he wants to know, okay, you're going to lose this match tonight. Like, so he talks to Vince. He's like, I've had this many losses. We can use this.
Yes.
My win can mean something. Let's build it. Don't have me win on a main event. I need to lose a lot more. And Vince is like, I love it. Keep it going.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. And look what happens. Yeah. They win belts on the fucking WrestleMania.
And it looks awesome.
And it looked great for them.
And Zack Ryder, he wasn't on TV that much, but he's the internet champion. He's still there. He has a podcast. Do something. Make your own show.
Who knows where they're both going to end up? And if you think about it from like a revival perspective, how long has Zack been sitting in the back?
Longer than they have.
Longer than they have.
Yeah. With the Young Bucks and Cody actually were pretty tight with Zack and with them, but they weren't. And there's never rumblings of Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins heading over because they did good. They did what they did well.
Yeah.
Sometimes
they love what they do.
Xavier Woods has a YouTube channel, very successful YouTube channel. Being on social media, if these people want to fix it for themselves, they gotta fix it for themselves. It's not gonna just be given to them.
And sometimes it really is about biding your time. Look at a dude like Mojo. He's had highs and lows already.
Yeah.
That dude, every time they have an interview with him, this is why I love Mojo Rawley. Every single interview they'd ask him about, what do you think of your booking? What do you think of this? He's like, I think I'm doing everything I can to be better than I was yesterday. He's never blamed creative.
Yep.
He's never blamed anyone else. And he says, the good news is I'm better now than I was last month. Mm-hmm. And eventually, I'm going to be better then than I was now. Like, I'm working towards being the best I can ever be. And he's grateful. You know where you always see pictures of him? Every charity event. Every time he has a chance to put his face out there and represent the company and be an ambassador of the company and say, we're giving back, he is there, front and center. I am here to see every single person I can. I will never blame anybody else. Hard work pays off, and that's his life there. Yeah. It's amazing because there's so many people who go, oh yeah, that bothered me. I didn't like this, creative that, and biding my time and all that shit. And it's a mentality. You don't have to. He's going to break big. He will because of his mentality, because of his work ethic. And I got to meet him at ToyCon. I got to talk to him about that. It was amazing. Really nice dude. I guess him and Zack Ryder don't get along. I guess in real life they really fucking hate each other. I'm not going to get in the middle.
That actually makes me a little bit happy. I just like to hear like...
They apparently, I've heard from multiple sources who supposedly know
each other.
They cannot stand each other.
That's great.
I think it's pretty funny. I don't want to get involved in it. I like them both for separate reasons.
I was just like the idea of like you guys are like, you're a tag team, you gotta get over and just hate each other.
That's one of the reasons why I guess they broke up. They could not stand. Please don't make us keep doing this.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to murder someone.
Yeah. But either way, even at that ToyCon, there was like a total shit show when it came to Mojo, and I was talking to one of the artists there, and the guy's like, "That's really funny. I'm gonna tell Zack Ryder because I know him, and that dude hates Mojo." And I was like, "Okay." That's easy. Great. It's not what I was going for here. But the thing that I took away from there was what the shit show was that Mojo went through. He was still smiling and laughing. And I even told him, I was like, dude, I'm not anything for you. Like, I was telling him basically what he was sitting in. And he looks and he smiles and he looks at his caretakers and he's like, really? And he's like, that's so fun. And he's like, can I also keep the banner? Like, he wanted to remember this day. And like when I heard him ask for the banner, I was like, wow, like that's the kind of thing that I feel like that's the kind of guy would put that up in his workout room and be like, they're never treating me like that again.
Yeah.
I will never be treated that way because I'm going to be huge next time they ask.
Heck yeah.
You know what I mean? And you gotta respect the guy who's like that, the mentality.
Well,
know?
the other one I think of like is Titus O'Neil.
Yeah.
I've never not liked Titus O'Neil because gimmick being dumb, having a lot of gimmicks. God damn, he sells it well.
Yeah,
and
he does.
He always is out there.
He leans into it.
Well, and then what he does for his community, what he does with people, and then when things are silly, he leans into it too.
Yeah.
And love it. He's the nicest guy.
Absolutely
Just
great.
freakishly tall, which also is.
Yeah.
I always forget, like, oh shit, he's 6'8".
I know, and I look at it, and I look at guys like Mr. Perfect. He was mid-card his whole career.
Yeah.
That dude never main evented anything. He held the IC belt for a little bit. And that was it. And people want to get upset about where people sit on the card here. They're pissed about Finn. Pissed about Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
They could be the next Mr. Perfect.
And this is an era where you truly can do that. Then you can make an argument. Well, they really don't like me. Like, if you're Dustin Runnels, you can get like, Vince doesn't like how I look. How much does Vince not like how I look? He's making me wear a bodysuit that makes me almost die.
Yeah. Put me in a big old garbage bag. Spray painted my face. What? Legit.
But now you can do something, and if it really sucks and you hate that much, get out. But don't burn your bridge.
Yeah.
Like I would lend a lot more credence to complaints about that if somebody left on positive terms, but said it more like, this specifically is what I don't like. Specifically this is my reasoning. Not just going into anytime somebody texts WWE like we just said last week tonight. I'm gonna pile on that too. You've piled on everything.
I had the chance to have a couple of drinks with a couple of wrestlers during a specific event that was near us where they were drunk enough to tell me a lot of things they shouldn't tell me. So I'm not going to say who or what, but the heart of what they were saying was, yes, we love the company for what they've done. The company's paid us so much that our houses are paid off. Our children are taken care of. We have insurance. They can afford insurance. Yeah. They said these things. It's no longer about the money. Everything's paid off. We own everything now, but we just want to have fun now. Yeah. Like, we're no longer having fun. So we have friends who are doing other things. We maybe can go have fun with them. That sounds really good. And goes, if the money's good, cool. But if the money's not good, it's not a big deal.
We don't have
WWE.
to struggle as much.
Yeah, we don't have to work for the money and struggle through things we don't like to do because the money's been good for long enough now. Then now we can think about what's going to just make us happy.
Plus, they could also those individuals that you mentioned, they leave on good terms. They
can always come back.
Yeah, and we've heard nothing about them wanting to break the contract. We've heard nothing, no rumblings or anything there. Which I also, as much as I read the dirt sheets, I never lend anything to them because so much of it is bullshit. So much of it is
so much of it turns out to be wrong. Dude, I loved all the WrestleMania facts and predictions, and then all the day after WrestleMania, everything last minute change. This was the last minute change. Obviously, this was the last minute change. As we reported, this is not what was going to happen, and it happened because of a last second change. Or maybe you were just wrong about everything, man. Maybe you are not keyed in, and it's okay to say, yeah, we were wildly guessing.
Yeah.
But you wanna fight for your credibility more than you want to fight for actual knowledge.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with fantasy booking. I love fantasy booking.
That's all I do.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And
that's the nature of this show, so we can fantasy book what we want to see. I want to see Bayley versus Becky. Let's do it.
I love the idea of Kevin Owens coming out and attacking Triple H and the McMahons, and we find out this has all been a long-term, like, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that idea. I love the idea of the New Day. Well, they're not going to break up, but I love the idea of them breaking up because they got to where they are now. They did it. Now, they did it. They got Kofi to the belt, but I'd love Kofi to turn on them.
Yes
not
and
immediately.
No.
Not immediately.
Definitely not immediately, but at the same time, like, isn't that a little obvious? I'd almost rather see
Big
E and Xavier Woods just walk away, right? This was our goal, and we did that for you.
We're done.
We're done. It's on you now, man.
Yeah.
We want to work on us now. we did this for you.
Yeah.
I could see that, and I could be okay with that, but I don't think I want a messy breakup there.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Kofi goes off, all right, I got you. Does his own thing. Months down the line, getting teamed up on by a bunch of dudes, I still want those two to come out and save his ass. Even if they don't get back together. But we're not going to let someone treat you like that.
I think it'd be cool to have Mr. McMahon come out as a face for his last run.
Yeah.
And have him be battling the Authority himself. Because
weird to pull off, though.
Well, I could see an angle where it's Triple H and Stephanie and Shane. You're out, old man. How many times and just pushing him out and having them call him and him saying like even admitting,
he's no longer the major shareholder, sort of like the Ric Flair.
Or he is, but it's like they're trying to take hostile control. You can have your money. We just want you out. We want to take over control of this. And him.
Yeah, that was the Ric Flair angle, where he took more shares than Vince.
Yeah, but have him
or
be
equal shares he had.
Yeah, but have Vince be like, I might have made mistakes, but I always had entertainment in my heart. And wanting to make you smile, and have him admit it, but be like this cool like face leaving, and as he loses, it'll like have him, I don't know, have him exit, but have him exit as a face.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, when you watch the Hall of Fame stuff, you really do just want to chant "Thank you, Vince." At the end of WrestleMania,
Thank you, Vince.
That's what I really wanted to chant. Thank you, Vince. Because
Hey,
Vince.
God damn it, Vince.
Yeah, Vince. Come on, man. But yeah, no. At the end of Mania, at the end of Royal Rumble, it's just the type of you just want to go shake his hand and say, "Dude, thank you," because you made all of this happen today. Like a lot of people were involved, but if there's no you, there was no this moment.
Yeah. Even if not you, the people you put in charge are doing a fantastic job. You've picked great managers.
You made me feel this way tonight. Like fucking Rumble. I thought my heart was.
Let me teach you what a burrito is.
Yeah. Let me show you a carne asada, my man.
You don't know about burritos. Let me show you a chimichanga. Ah.
Vince McMahon. New AEW shirts.
New AEW shirts. Yes, there's an awesome Jim Ross shirt because Jim Ross is on it.
Good old JR.
There is a Cody shirt I was looking at that they have. I was actually looking at the crate.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Crate this month's theme. I have gotten the last couple themes. This one is strictly AEW, so I will be forfeiting this crate to our resident AEW superfan. Yeah.
Making weird noises because I'm happy.
Something dripped.
Yeah, that's fair. There's also a cool jacket for Cody. It's $110.
I thought that was like Phoenix's mask. That's a cat with wings.
No, it's the Nightmare family because Cody's the American Nightmare because Dusty was the American Dream.
Yeah, but that's not a nightmare. That's a cat.
It's a skull.
That's a cat skull. Oh, wait, is that a human with a crown?
Yeah. And a flag.
And wings?
Yeah, because America.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I do like the American Nightmare concept.
Yeah, and
he's a super heel, right? He's heel as fuck?
Kinda.
He's got to be getting a little face-ish now. At this point, you've done this.
He's done face things, but he's also done, great heel shit. Like, I love in Being the Elite, there's this back and forth with a super heel called MJF, who just comes out and just is an asshole that brought Cody, because he's trying to kiss Cody's ass. And Cody is insane and calls it, but also doesn't. So it makes Cody kind of a face, but Cody's also just such a bumbling, incompetent, money asshole. Like when he offers people insane amounts of money.
Does he do that shit?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
funny.
Like they did a challenge for someone to be like the character of the librarian, and he meets the guy and he's like, "We're gonna sign you to a $1 million deal." It's people telling him, "No, fucking no."
No.
And it keeps building up and building up, building up, and somebody he leaves and it's like, "Here's $20, leave." No. But he's good. Cody keeps growing on me.
I want him to. I watched the Wrestle Kingdom a couple years back with him, and I was really looking forward to it. And I felt let down. And whatever. It is what it is. But
yeah, and he wasn't the best. Because part of it also is when he was there.
I was happy for him when he got the NWA. I'm happy for him. He's doing these things, and I recognize that I mean, I don't know if it's him backstage to me is a better impact on the industry than him on stage. I just don't know.
Yeah.
But for me as a fan, I'm way more excited about the things he's doing outside of the ring than in. And maybe that's just where I'll always see him. Either way, it's not a bad place to be.
No, not at all. No, you can Vince McMahon was not the best performer in the ring.
No, and Dusty Rhodes, his father, was incredibly well known for both sides.
Yeah.
He had an interview with Jim Ross on his podcast today too, where he actually talked about how much work his mother did behind the scenes, and I had no idea that. And so he says that he feels like he got a lot of that stuff from his mom. If that's true too, then your mom's a fucking angel.
Yeah.
And if you're learned a lot from her, then maybe that's why you got both sides from both people. But
No, he's. I mean, I feel, but I do feel he's getting better and better.
Yeah.
I think also like with Wrestle Kingdom and JPW, he didn't mesh on the mic as well because he couldn't cut both sides, and because the gimmick was almost if it was all to an American audience, it'd been fantastic. But in New Japan, it didn't. I don't know. It just didn't mesh right to me.
yeah,
He is great.
I could see that.
Yeah. I think, and he was around so many other fantastic people on the mic. Even like Tama Tonga and Bad Luck Fale, as much as they're not really known as people on the mic, they are fantastic on the mic.
Yeah.
They just know their role. They're big scary fuckers.
All right, I can get that. I think otherwise that kind of wraps us up for the day.
Cool.
We covered the Shakeup, Raw and SmackDown, covered NXT. What's the next big one? It's got to be SummerSlam, right?
Yeah, I mean, Money in the Bank isn't the biggest one.
No, but SummerSlam's usually July,
Maybe August.
July or August, and then after that you have
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series and then Rumble. But that's so weird. I would have thought you'd put Survivor Series between SummerSlam because SummerSlam's like the second biggest.
They have a big gap.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. Like you kind of realize, like, fuck, that's a lot.
Yeah, because that's like not till November.
Yeah, no, it's
All
kind
right.
of crazy.
So yeah, I guess SummerSlam's the next one we're building up to, and I hope for SummerSlam we have Bayley and Becky. Do you think they would ever do like a pin for belt kind of a situation where it's like, let's say it's a triple threat, first pinfall gets Raw, second pinfall gets SmackDown?
I thought they were going to do that because they did that with it was at the European Intercontinental title match at like X8 when it was like Benoit, Angle, and Edge, or Jericho, and it was like tied. It was a pin for pin. Like whoever got first pin got this, whoever got second pin got the other belt.
No kidding, so they've done it.
Yeah,
didn't know
it's a
that.
good idea. I thought that was what was going to happen. I thought that would be way cooler because then you could have. Imagine if Becky beat both, like beat Charlotte first. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Pins Charlotte and then pins Ronda, so she pins both of them separately and gets both belts.
And I would say that if that were the case, that even with a potentially botched finish, you'd still have time to make it up.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
glad they haven't brought up the botch finish though.
I'm glad they haven't either because honestly, like I said in the last episode, I think it was poetic to win with a crucifix.
It doesn't help anything by having it become something sullied.
Not unless Ronda comes back. If Ronda comes back, yeah, let Ronda bring it up. But no one else has any business bringing it up.
Yep.
Right? Because if Ronda comes back and says, you bitch,
Yeah.
you didn't even pin me. And you've been running around here for how many months?
Running your gums.
Yeah, acting this way. Watch the video. Boom. Psh, bring it back. Great.
Yeah.
But if we never talk about it again,
Totally fine.
totally fine. And it's no one's business but Ronda's. Truly. I like that they did bring up that Charlotte has a gripe saying she wasn't the one pinned. And so Becky never beat me. But it's also like, yeah, but Becky's beat you a fucking dozen times this year.
Yeah.
So maybe cool it. Maybe you're lucky she didn't pin you again. Right? Maybe relax.
Maybe we don't need to bury this totally because
Yeah.
she didn't beat me in a cell. She didn't beat me in this. We're just gonna go through stipulations until it's just like she's beat you every fucking way possible, Charlotte.
She's beat the shit out of
You're
her.
not that great. You're good. Don't get me wrong, champ. You're good.
She's great. Yeah.
Kind of tall, kind of weird looking, but you're not that great.
You know what I was surprised about when I met her in person? She was wearing sneakers. I don't feel like she was taller than me. I'm not tall.
Wait,
I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
You're taller than a lot of talent, just so you know.
Really?
You're taller
Well,
than...
I
a
felt
lot
that
of
way.
newer talent. Yeah.
I felt that way. I was backstage at a SmackDown show, and I was like, I'm surprised at how many people were shorter than me, or I felt like were the same size as me. Like Orton walked by, and I went, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
But like when
fair.
AJ came up, when Rusev came up, they're all shaking my hand, and I'm like,
You're tiny.
I'm just all like, wow, I thought you'd be like a monster, and you're just kind of like right here. Charlotte, I remember thinking she was very close to my height. Like,
Which, for a female talent, is tall.
yeah, but I was like, the way she's presented is so huge,
Yeah.
and they book her 6'1" or 6'2".
Well,
But I remember, I distinctly remember thinking I can look down a little bit. Like she was just barely maybe my height.
yeah.
But I remember being thinking that was like we're so close in height, and I was surprised because I was like, I thought you'd be like a giant.
I want to start working out next time they go through a house show. I want to see if I can go. See if I can get backstage because I'm taller than you.
Yep.
I want.
You know who's even smaller than I expected? Zelina.
Yeah, she's 4'11". She's on under 5 feet. She's tiny.
She's tiny. I walked back there and her she was facing away from me, and I was like, someone brought their kid? Like I was confused. And then she turned around and I was like, oh
fuck.
shit.
Damn. Or like, well, Alexa Bliss is like 5 foot. It's like, fuck, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Alexa, Ruby, and Nikki all walked by me when I did the backstage thing, and they were very, very small. I was like,
Well,
Nikki was really funny. I was like, oh my god, it's Nikki. And she was like, hi. And I was like,
when I was like 10 or 11, I've been this tall since I was like 10.
No.
So big burst of height and then stayed. So it was kind of like my parents were scared because a 10-year-old shouldn't be 6 feet tall, but whatever.
yeah.
We went to this car auction. Bill
bought a
Goldberg
car?
was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Bill Goldberg is like my height.
Yeah.
Even then, I was like, oh shit. It kind of like because how they book them and how they build them. Even Brock's not that tall. Brock's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
Which is tall, but like you see the beast and you're thinking like you want him to be like 20 feet tall.
Yeah, you want him to be taller than the stage.
Yeah, and then but Goldberg is like they even in WCW they booked him height wise, even gimmicked him taller, and he's not. He's like 6'1". So you're like, oh, I have to look up a little bit, but you're thinking like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I used to work for a stagehand company, and I worked backstage at SmackDown once, and I thought the set started to fall, and I went, "Oh shit!" And as I went to go to protect myself, I realized it was the Big Show walking by, and he was big. He walked by, and I went, "Ah!" And I was like, "Oh,
Did he react at all?
He just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Hey," and
That
kept
happens
walking.
a lot.
Yeah, and I was all like, "I thought the thing was falling. Forget it.
Yeah.
Just keep on." But yeah, I met a lot of talent that day. I was surprised at not how tall they were not.
Yeah. Well, and that's I think as they get more and more talent from indies and stuff, and I think they're honestly looking at longevity because big guys don't last super long because it's easier. It's a frame
hard.
thing. Yeah,
It's hard.
And not anatomy, but like Finn Balor's 5'7", 5'8". You know, a lot of these guys, Kenny Omega's only 6 foot. The Young Bucks are shorter than you. Across the industry, like you see Cody with the Bucks, and it's like, damn, he's big, and he's not that tall. He's 6'3".
Yeah. Yo, and Mysterio is even smaller than I expected. I knew he was short.
He's like
You can
5'5".
see a picture of him over there next to me, and he's like shoulder height. In the bottom corner of that. Fucking, I think if you see a picture with, Charles Robinson's taller than him.
Yeah, I can see that.
Why? You shouldn't see that. He's the ref. You can look Bailey's taller than him, too.
Yeah.
Sasha looks maybe slightly taller than him.
Well, that's why
I think Tim White was taller than him. He was much shorter than I expected. I expected him to be short. He's a small dude, but
it makes sense when you hear his weight. It's like he's like 180, like
175.
but he looks so big, and he's
That's
like,
true.
You gotta be tiny to be 175 and look like a tank.
Yeah, that's
Like
a good point.
Like Perry Sutter.
Taz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
247. How fucking tall are you?
Yeah. I will say, just to wrap things up, the one person I met backstage that made a huge impression on me, the first person to talk to me backstage when I got taken back there, was Kofi. And he immediately starts talking to me, "What's up, man? Hey, how you doing?" And I started talking to him, and I was a little nervous. This was right after SummerSlam last year. Becky had the belt for about a month or two. She was on her current first belt run, doing all the house show loops with beating Charlotte at the things. I get backstage, so this was a while back, before Kofi exploded at all, and he was just super chill, super nice. And then I started like fanboying out a little bit, and I was like, man, this is kind of crazy to be back here a little bit. And I was like, man, last time I was back here, I was working for that crew that I was just telling you about. And I was like, I remember meeting or like walking by Vince McMahon right over there, and I fucking jumped. And he's like, oh man, I still get that way when I see Vince. And then me and him started fanboying out. He started telling me about, like, he's like talking about how it was crazy to him that Dean Malenko was standing right over there. And he's like, it's crazy. It's Dean Malenko. Like, what is he doing working where I work? You know, like, we were just shooting stories back and forth about running into old stars that made us kind of fan out a little bit. And then he introduced me to the rest of the New Day. And we just were hanging. Dude, he talked to me the longest out of absolutely everybody.
He didn't need to. He just did because he's awesome.
He didn't need to. He had no, like, a lot of other people was like, oh, nice to meet you, and moving on. He was like, let's fucking shoot the shit for a while. We were talking about all sorts of dumb stuff. We were talking about games. We were talking about traveling, talking about driving, talking about fucking desserts and food that was in the area. And then at the end of the day, I look back at it and I think that for me, that's what made this win so much even bigger, was it was the type of person that it wouldn't be lost on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This wasn't somebody who just, I deserve this and I've earned this. This is the type of person who is probably wowed. Every time he goes out there, it's probably like, fuck, everyone's...
That's what you want.
That's exactly the champ you want.
Yeah. When I met Bill Goldberg, what I remember, and it was the coolest experience.
Yeah.
I was walking up, I saw him. He had a yellow Challenger he was selling, or yellow Plymouth Cuda that they built, restored and built up. And I see the car and I see him and I go, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And he sees me and he goes, come here, big guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like going over. My sister's like, he's a big wrestling fan. He's like, oh, that's awesome. And I'm like, and I'm talking to him. And I start talking to him about the car because I love cars. Cars have always been my thing. I was like, well, what have you done? And I'm talking to him. We talked for like 10 minutes about the car. A little bit about, Raw, a little bit about this, but it was like that. And he was just super sweet. He's like, what pictures do you want, guys? What do you want signed? And he signed like 3 pictures, everything. Yeah. People would try and talk to him about like, hey, Bill, how are you doing? And he's like, hey, give me a second, guys. I'm talking to this kid. And he was the coolest thing ever.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was like the nicest guy. And it really left a good impact. The other one, secondhand, I had an aunt who worked at one of the bigger children's hospitals in Western North Carolina. Kane would come through. Oh. And he'd always go to the children's ward. He was the coolest guy. And she's like, she didn't know anything about him. But she's like, this big... Because he would be he'd come in costume, but he'd always be this like big guy, red machine. I'm like, Kane? Yeah. And he's like the sweetest guy. He'd always come through, incredibly courteous and awesome to everyone there. Would take the whole day. Never made anyone feel like he was rushed.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
When I met Brett at a signing, I was in a line and I just spent almost 2 hours in a line to meet Sean. And I was like, the whole time I was in there, I had tickets to meet Sean, but Brett happened to be there, right? So it wasn't a ticket. You didn't buy a ticket to meet Brett. You either got in line or you didn't. He just had a table,
yeah,
right? But Sean had an official meet and greet. So I got a ticket to meet Sean. It was a gift. I didn't buy it. I go, and I'm waiting in this line. The first thing to do is go straight to the Sean table. Let's just go straight there, get done, and then wander around for a while and see who we can meet. Get there almost 2.5 hours waiting in line to meet Sean. Feeling like the whole day is wasting away. Brett had a time clock on him, and I even saw a thing, he's not going to be here after a certain time. And I was like, fuck. We go through there, get to the front, I see Sean, I'm like, dude, you're a legend, watched all your stuff, and he's like, cool, man. And then he's just like, for a picture, signed a thing, passed it on. And I was all like,
okay,
all right.
2.5 hours.
Yeah. He was just like, that's cool, and like didn't even really look at me. Oh, thanks for coming out, and all right, move on. But I get it. At that point also, things I'd seen before me, whereas there was one guy who's waiting in line, he gets there and he goes, yeah, I have that table of stuff in the back. I'm a reseller, some shit. And so then Sean gets up and goes to this table over there and just proceeds to sign like 40 or 50 things. Then after that, he's like, I need a break. And you're like, I get it. Then after that, the Nasty Boys show up. He goes, these guys are my roommates. And then they start shooting the shit. And then he's back to work, So I get it. By that time, 2.5 hours, you're feeling a little bit like a machine. So yeah. I get it. I don't hold that against him too much. He wasn't as friendly as I thought he could have been, but he was in a bad situation. Rush over to go to the Brett line, and he was supposed to leave like 20 minutes ago. but he's still there. And so I jump in line. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And they walk back to like, look, Brett's staying a little bit later than we thought he would. He's got somewhere else to be, but he said that he told him he'll be late. He's like, we have to stop this line somewhere. And they stopped like 2 people behind me. And I was like, thank God, thank God. He ultimately got through the whole line. He stayed there like an hour or 2 late. Just signing, wanted to make sure everyone got their sign and their picture. And super nice. As soon as I see him, he cracks a joke. I blurt out, you're the first hero I've ever had. And I got all shaky. Everything else kind of blacks out after that. Got a picture with him. He signed those glasses. He signs the glasses. He goes, who's this to? And I tell him my name. He signs it on there. And then immediately I was like, can I put him on for the picture? Sure. Gives me a second. I put him on for the picture. Like, he was the coolest dude. And he was like, thank you so much for coming out and all that. Him and Jim Neidhart.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You get the axe. You get the ox. Or the rhino. Whatever. I keep forgetting. What are the names? Whatever.
The anvil?
Anvil.
Yeah.
Eric watches wrestling.
Yeah. But either way, you want that stuff to happen to good people. Kofi's a good fucking person.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier for him on that. And I think when I met Bailey and Sasha, I was really impressed by them too. They were really, really friendly to absolutely everyone. They were really goofy with someone. As we were walking away, we even saw someone say they wanted to do a DX picture. Bailey said, fuck yeah, just runs to the front and immediately goes into Shawn Michaels. Like, they're chill, man. They were really cool, and I didn't think they had to be. And then after they signed the stuff, I was just sitting there like, feeling all starstruck. And then I turned around, I was like, wait, I wanted to tell them something. And I just started trying to like tell them about that Give Divas a chant tweet. And I was like, but like 4 days before, you guys did the 4-way, a revival for NXT, and everyone's trying to say it was the Bellas, but it had nothing to do with the Bellas. Obviously, the Bellas had a 30-second match. Why would anybody care if they saw more of that? They want to see more of what you guys were doing. And that's what they were trying to say. And they're like, good. Like, all right. I'm an idiot.
Hey.
But hey, they were really nice to me. Really cool. So that's why I want Becky and Bailey. I have encountered Becky before. Saw her at ToyCon. Super nice. Very cool. It's good when it happens to nice people.
Yeah.
And I've heard the same stuff about Cody. At the end of the day, I've heard Cody's incredibly nice.
I've heard nothing, any of them. One of my favorite things, and you've talked to me, and I'm not doing this and kind of kick myself, but I want to meet the Bucks myself. I don't want you to have something signed for me because I want to do it myself. Because whenever I see them do a signing or whenever I hear about them, they are always like silly and fun, and they treat everyone cool, and like do the dumbest jokes where like they'll like challenge you as they're signing and just be weird. And I like that. I like dumb weird crap. It makes me happy. Kenny is known for being amazing. They all are.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. I like that we have these people who are heroes to us, and they're like these really cool people we can aspire to in many ways. Like even as like I'm an adult now, I like that I can maybe be that guy, just being silly and cool.
Yeah, for sure. But that one's gonna wrap it up for us today.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks for tuning in or watching after the fact, and we will be back next week.
Hopefully
1 hour.
Hopefully some cool things happen.
Yeah, hopefully this starts to really lead into some good stuff.
Yeah.
Lacey does get her title match. I don't know if that's going to be for Money in the Bank or before Money in the Bank. I guess we'll find out next week. So we'll see what this starts to lead into. Then we can start doing some super fantasy booking. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Good.